Good evening, Chinese. I'm Carlos, and you're watching the Poise News Network, where we bring light to what's happening on and off campus. Today, we're tackling an issue that's becoming more noticeable in our classrooms: the lack of discipline and its impact on learning. We're gonna go interview Mr. Carr. Hello, I'm Carlos, coming to you from PNN, and we have.
I'm Mr. Carr, middle school teacher.
Some questions. The first question is, what are some of the biggest behavior challenges you face in your classroom?
So right now it's the end of the school year. Students are getting kind of restless. The end of San Diego Unified School District has already happened. And so a lot of the smaller behaviors are becoming more amplified and more students are doing them. So for example, there's a lot of gum chewing. There's a lot of students trying to use their phone. There is a lot more tardiness for classes in the middle of the day. So those are some of the smaller infractions. But students are also getting more restless and trying to bother each other. They love to say good boy to one another. They love to then retaliate when someone does that, and they're letting things like that control their behavior. They're letting their friends control their behavior.
Do you feel the current discipline policies are effective? Why or why not?
I think that right now, behavior in middle school seems to be worse than ever in my 22 years of experience here. Discipline has not been as effective. Students came back from the pandemic definitely different than they were beforehand. I think it's a combination of things. So one thing is, I think that they came back and they didn't have the same training that the students before them had. And so the way that Troy students socialize together, and I mean that in the greater picture, the way that there was a hierarchy when they all rode the bus together. So that's like one part of it. Another part of it is we had two groups of students who had never been at Preuss who came to Preuss and weren't used to being held to the same standards as other students.
How does student behavior impact your ability to teach or other students' ability to learn?
Ooh, that's a good question. So you can't teach students who aren't here. So that's talking about being tardy or being absent. It's also hard to teach students who are distracted. So if they're distracted because of a device or they're distracted by their friends, either way, it is hard to reach them. And if they're the ones who are being a distraction, that can multiply exponentially and they can distract their friends and non-friends in a much larger way. So trying to recorrect students and putting them back on task takes away minutes from teaching. Sometimes it could be 2 minutes at the beginning of the school year, and now it seems like it's getting closer to 10, 15 minutes.
Have you seen the change in behavior over the year? If so, what do you think is causing it?
Similar to what I mentioned earlier, there's definitely been a change in behavior. After the pandemic, students came back, and there was a group of students who had never been socialized to Preuss. Additionally, students had been home, and they came back with a different energy. Addition to that, we've had a change in administration, and the way that things were seem to have changed. And then in addition to that, we have parents seem to have gotten a lot softer. It seems like parents don't hold their students to the same accountability. When we do contact parents, it seems now more than ever that parents actually make excuses for their children rather than holding them accountable. And really, if parents aren't holding their students accountable for something that a teacher has witnessed, then there is no way that anyone else can hold those students accountable.
The last question, what supportive changes do you think help improve discipline at our school?
I think that starting the school year off next year, really emphasizing what we want to be our core discipline, our core areas of discipline. I think setting a standard for what's acceptable and not acceptable will really help. There has been a big push to being understanding and showing grace to students who may be going through difficulty. And I think being understanding is important, but I think that learning here at school in a place where there are people that care about you and love you is much more important than learning discipline from police officers. So if you don't learn to be disciplined here, where there are people that can help you through working through what's acceptable and not acceptable, then oftentimes students may end up finding discipline in the correction, the correction in correctional facilities in our state or federally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're gonna go interview Ms. Ackerman. Hello, my name is Carlos. I'm here with PNN, and today we're gonna interview Ms. Ackerman. What are some of the biggest behavior challenges you face in your classroom?
In my classroom, I face a lot of unfocused students. and students who would rather be here to socialize than be here to learn.
The second question is, do you feel the current discipline policies are effective? Why or why not?
It's a tough question. I think that whenever there are changes in who works here and having new people come in and out, then there's not a lot of routine. And so I think we're working to make the discipline policy stronger, but we also need to hire some full-time teachers instead of having rotating subs all the time who don't know the procedures.
How does student behavior impact your ability to teach and other students' ability to learn?
Student behavior in class that makes it hard for others to learn would be like talking too much or being out of your seat or disrupting someone else that's sitting next to you. But we also have a lot of disturbances from outside. So I find myself having to go out of my classroom and telling people outside to be quiet. So that distracts me from being able to teach. And then students see other students outside and then they want to go outside. So it makes it hard when you don't have focus.
Have you seen a change in behavior over the years? If so, what do you think is causing it?
Yes, big change in behavior. The school campus as a whole has gotten louder. I'm not sure if it's because we have more people here now or less people that are full-time. I know that disrespect from students has increased. And it used to be you could tell one student something one time and they would adjust. And now it seems like we're having to say the same things over and over and over again. I'm not sure what's to blame other than I think maybe COVID, these students didn't have like the structure that they needed when they were young. So maybe we're trying to build that now at an older age.
And the last question, what support or changes do you think would help improve discipline at our school?
I think we just need better communication from administration, between teachers, with parents. And I think we need to be a little bit stricter with our policies, like our uniform policies, and making sure students are on time. And if they're not, what do we do? So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Now we're gonna go interview Ms. Barnes. Oh, this is Ms. Barnes. The first question is, what are some of the biggest behavior challenges you face in your classroom?
Some of the biggest behaviors that I'm noticing is a lot of students talking when I'm talking. There's a lot of focus issues. Students aren't able to focus for a long time, so they start talking, getting up, messing around. A lot of people putting hands on each other. They need multiple reminders. If I ask them to sit down, they'll be like, wait, hold on. So it takes a long time for students to follow expectations. Play fighting, that's hard for me to tell if it's real fighting or not fighting. Phones out, even though we've tried to establish expectations with phones. So it's a lot of not following expectations, needing multiple reminders that make it pretty challenging.
Do you feel the current discipline policies are effective? Why or why not?
Not that I've seen, because they don't really seem consistent. Like some students will get in trouble and will need lunch detention for this, but a student will do the same exact thing and they won't have any consequences, or sometimes this will happen, but not other times. So it's really hard for students to know what the consequences are. It's hard for us as teachers to know what the consequences are supposed to be. So students feel like they can get away with things, they'll keep pushing the boundaries, and with no consistency, they're just going to continue and nothing's going to change.
All right. How does student behavior impact your ability to teach and other students' ability to learn?
It makes it pretty challenging. Even reviewing for finals right now, it gets really loud in the classroom, and I'm not able to teach the material that I'm able to teach because I keep having to stop, pause, get their attention again, deal with this. If I'm talking with some students and I turn around, there's chaos over there, so I have to constantly deal with that, then deal with this. So then we don't really get to learn what we need to learn. And there's students in the class, the majority of them are trying to learn and are trying their best, that I can tell just get frustrated by their peers because like, I'm here trying to learn and you guys keep messing around. So it makes it hard for the students who are trying to learn, who are trying their best and can't do that because they keep getting interrupted and having to pause. And I feel bad for the students who feel like they're not getting the best education that they should be getting.
Have you seen a change in behavior over the years? If so, what do you think is causing it?
The past few years, I haven't been teaching for too long, so this is all I really know. I think it has been getting, in some ways better, in some ways worse. I think what I've noticed is more so just that students, maybe because of their phones, I think what I've noticed is just the attention has changed a lot. Students aren't able to sit down and focus for long periods of time, so they constantly need to be doing something, and I think it makes it hard for them to be in a classroom setting and do what they need to do. So I think just what I've noticed is just changing. Maybe it's because of phones or having constant access to like validation, other people talking to people, makes it hard for.
All right. And the last question: what support or changes do you think would help improve discipline at our school?
I think just a consistent structure so that students know what to expect. Like if I don't wear my uniform for this many days, this is the consequence. Or if I have my phone out, this is the consequence. It needs to be a lot more clear of what's going to happen if you guys do something so that you're not surprised. Well, why do I get lunch detention, but so-and-so didn't get lunch detention? Or why do I have a referral, but so-and-so didn't get a referral? If there's a clear structure of here's some common things that happen, here is what the consequence is, teachers will know how to carry out those consequences, and admin will know and the teachers will know. It'll just be a better like way to communicate to everyone what the expectations are. Here's what happens if you don't meet the expectations, so that we can focus on the learning, which is what's really important here at school, instead of these behaviors.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for today, Poise News Network. Let's bring back focus, respect, and a little more discipline, because when we go together, we succeed together. I'm Carlos. See you next time, Tridents. Alex has a big foot. Alex has a big foot.
The standard smaller infractions like gum chewing. I mean, you're literally chewing gum while you're interviewing me, as well as
Alex is sad today. Some of the biggest behavior challenges you face in your classroom.
so some of the biggest behavior challenges I face is